ARRI is one of the biggest names in film, if not the biggest. And after hearing about it for years, doing a workshop in film school, and dreaming about it ever since then, I finally had the opportunity to use it on a recent project. The project itself was a music video for Miko. Make sure to check him out. He's an amazing artist, and this guy's on tour right now, so go buy his tickets. So the camera we got wasn't ARRI, it was an ARRI AMIRA. I kind of tried to get the mini, but it was already booked, so we'll get that one next time. The lenses, I had like a kit of like 6 lenses, which were the Zeiss Ultra Prime kit. I also always had a 1/8 Hollywood Blackmagic diffusion filter, which just works amazingly. We also had a red Raptor on site for specific shots on this fisheye lens. Besides that, we had a Dana dolly, because you know I love my dollies, a satchel tripod for sticks, and the rest was either handheld with me just holding it or on the easy rig, depending on how I felt. If you don't know already, I like to keep my lighting simple, and this is exactly what that was. We had a 600 boom to the second floor where the bedroom was. We had a reflector dish on the 600, and I just shined it at like 3200 or 2700 to emulate the warm sunrise feeling. Besides that, I had a very big cloth black backdrop neg just taped on the wall, camera right, just so no light ever bounces back. That's really it. I just aimed to always shoot on the shadow side and just create a simple sunlight lighting setup. Moving on to this kitchen scene, we had a couple lights outside. I believe on this side was a 600 and then a 300 on this side, and we were just backlighting Miko. On top of this, to bring up the levels on the inside, we had an ARRI 300 on a lantern. This doesn't really look like a lantern, but bear with me. I had it pointed to the roof, and it was just outputting to bring up the room levels. Even with these lights, we didn't have enough light on Miko himself, so we rigged up a tube just in front of him on a 45-degree angle, just so I could cove some light and actually key the guy. Besides that, there was a little bit too much spill, so what we did was we taped up a neg, camera left, just so there's no more bounce, and some nice shadows into this image. Let's move on to the bathroom scene. This was actually the most simplest setup. The only thing that I really did was put a neg camera left, and we called it a day. All this light spilling in was all just natural light, so why do more when you can do less? And this is what we did. We'll start with what's keying the talent, and it is the Nova 300. It was a little bit too hot, so I put a silk in front, but yeah, this was just keying Miko and the band member back here. After doing this, there wasn't too much light on the left of frame, so what we did was put the 300, and we bounced it off a material that my grip had, which is called Mylar. It's basically some shiny material, and we had someone moving it, so it was giving this really shiny, trippy effect. After doing that, I noticed Jason here, he was a little too overexposed and hot, so we rigged up a silk just blocking him from the light. Lastly, just wanted more shadow and contrast, so again, we put a neg, camera right. This is my favorite scene and still from this entire music video, and we did all natural lighting for this because we location scouted. So we have the sun back here, and it's just backlighting Miko as well as bouncing here. I tried using a reflector, but it just didn't work the way that I wanted because we were also moving at the same time. But we shot at this perfect time where the light was low enough that it was spilling on the entire face, while also having shadow on the left side. But yeah, this was all just natural lighting. The sun was somewhere up here, and because we know what we're doing, we're gonna backlight our subject so it gives them a nice rim and backlights them. So we positioned Miko where we needed him to be, and luckily the sun was at a point where there were nice shadows on the ground, and we composed it very nicely. But yeah, natural lighting wins again. Moving on to the final still breakdown. Again, this is just natural lighting. The sun was somewhere over here. This doesn't look like a sun, but it is now. And as I said before, we had an 8x8 silk, so we just silked the sun off. We brought the silk as close to Miko as possible without keeping it in frame, so it was the softest it could possibly be. With using sunlight, there's usually just 2 options, backlighting and side lighting, and the last one we backlit, and this one we side lit. And that's the breakdown. Make sure you remember your fundamentals, you practice, and you learn how to light with the sun. And with that being said, I think I'm going to be making a video on how to light with the sun, so watch out for that.